Welcome to Derek Does. Today, we're going to do all this. Hi, welcome back to another Derek Does. I'm Derek, and if you're new here, please subscribe, like, comment, all that stuff. Today, I'm going to do a how-to video. This is a how-to how I polish a pair of shoes. Now, I buy a lot of used vintage shoes, and this is no exception. This is a pair I picked up at an estate sale last week. It's from Towncraft, but they're Cordovan long wing Oxford dress shoes, and it's pretty nice. They're too small for me, but they are currently available. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you, I thought I do this all the time, and I never thought maybe you guys would like to learn how to polish a pair of shoes. Now this won't be for boots, this won't be for oiling boots. I might do another episode on that, but today it's going to be how to polish a pair of shoes you picked up. So you picked up, you're at a estate sale, you're at a thrift store, you were in your grandpa's closet, and you found a pair of shoes that fit you, and you want to get them all polished up. And I'm going to show you how to do that. Again, these are probably from the 60s, Towncraft from JCPenney's. Long Cordovans though, so it's a pretty nice pair of shoes. Now what I do is I picked up one of these boxes. I used to just have a shoe box that I kept all my polish and my brushes and everything. I kept it in here, but this is one of those fancy, this is actually from Esquire Shoe Valet Deluxe, patent pending. I picked this up at a estate sale, I think. You can find these at thrift stores, estate sales, probably in your dad's closet if you look around. They're pretty common. This one's a nice wood one. It's like a maple. It's actually like a bird's eye maple even. But, so what we do, again, you can use a shoebox. I used a shoebox for decades, but finally I saw this and I keep all my stuff in here. Now all this stuff that's in here, I don't think I bought. I think there's one thing I actually bought, new. The rest of it you can pick up at any thrift store, any estate sale, anything like that. Again, just go to those places, go in the closet in the bedroom area when they're having a sale, and you can find all this stuff in there. So I've got some old t-shirts and some socks that I use just for polishing. Things you're gonna need though, you need to find yourself a brush, and these are horsehair brushes, and this is from Empire Shoe Brush. I picked this up at an estate sale, I'm sure, or a thrift store. You can find these all the places. I have a couple of these. This is a Kiwi one, and then I have a big one. This one's a nice one, USA Oxco. And these are just brushes, and they're just for finishing the shoes. You don't have to have one of these. You can use just a old t-shirt will do the same thing, but the brushes are nice, especially on a nice pair of dress shoes. So you're going to need some of that. There's also a little brush in here if you get in a little tight spaces from Esquire. This might have come in this kit. You're going to need things like mink oil. This is a boot and shoe polish. This one's like a neutral, so this will go with any. Then I have brown. I have tan. I have another old one. Again, these are all old. This is cream boot polish. This one is cognac, which is pretty close to what we want. Another neutral. These are old Esquires. They come in these little tin. These are probably from the 50s. This costs 59 cents new. Black. But the one that we're gonna use, and make sure that this is the only one I have of it, is this one. This is the Kiwi Cordovan. Now I've used this on all my Cordovan shoes, and it does a great job. So we're just going to use this. We're going to use one of the brushes. We're done with the box. The box just holds everything, so that's all you need. So for this pair of shoes, we're going to use this can of Cordovan. I have 2 paper towels that are damp. You're going to need a damp paper towel to begin with. And you're also going to need an old shirt, or get a new shirt, and that becomes your new old shirt to do the shoes. So I'm going to turn the camera so you can just see the shoes of what I'm doing, and I'll talk, and you can see how to polish a pair of shoes. All right, so here we're back at the shoes. Now what I do is, again, this is a wet paper towel. I've got my old can of Cordovan Kiwi shoe polish, and I'll get a brush when I'm all done. So what I do first is I take out the shoelaces. So you need to do that because you need to get into all the tongue area and all that stuff. So let's remove the shoelaces. And these shoes obviously are in really nice shape. I've done a lot worse, and you might have a pair that's a lot worse than this. But you can save your shoelaces. We'll just set them there. Take out your shoelaces, because you want to be able to get into everything. This would be the same if you have a pair of boots or something along that you're polishing also. Same thing. Okay, so we got the shoelaces out, and here we can see how this all looks. Alright, so let's get one of our paper towels. And I'll just use 1/2 of this paper towel for each shoe. Or actually it's 2 pieces, but get it apart. So basically what you want to do, you put your hand in it, and you just go along the edges, because that's where a lot of the dust is going to be. Along the edges. I mean, the shoes are really nice shape as is. Again, because this pair really hasn't been used. But you can see already how dirty they are. The shoes look good, but they could totally use a polish. And they're going to look fantastic when we're all done. And again, you can use this on any pair of dress shoes. And just remember to get the polish to match the shoe. So you don't want to use this Cordovan on a shoe that's brown or black. You'll want to use a brown or black, depending on the shoe. I don't worry on old vintage dress shoes. I don't worry about the bottoms. I leave that as is. Some guys might. I don't. Again, I'm not Mr. Posh. Everything has to be perfect. I just have it nice looking. And I've done the same style of doing a pair of shoes for 20 years at least. And it's okay if your shoe gets a little wet. That's the point. Particularly if you notice, like on this shoe, it has all these little ridges everywhere. So all those little ridges are places that dirt and dust can get into. And remember to open it up and get the tongue. Just like that. Alright, that's good. Alright, and you can see these shoes look really nice, but they're still pretty dirty, or they were. Alright, so now we got that, and now we're going to get just one of my old t-shirts. And you can see I've used this on multiple different shoes and polishing. And you just want to dry it off. They weren't really wet, but just in case there's a little bit of water. They already look great just with that wipe down, don't they? Again, this pair wasn't really used much at all, as you can tell. And you can see they're old Town Crafts, and they even did a little, just like old Floorshimes or something along that nature. If you're a 7.5D, these could be yours. They're on my eBay. Alright, so now we're going to polish the shoes. And what we do is we get our old can of Kiwi. Now how to open these, you may have never opened one of these before. So this is an old can. If you ever get the old cans, they've got this little twist here. And what you do is you twist it, and it pushes the top out, and then you can open it. A lot of times this old, it's already cracked and everything like that. That's common in this old polish. That's just how it is. And it has a very strong odor too. Alright, so we get our old t-shirt, take about 2 fingers, put them in there. Your fingers might get a little red. Get a little polish on it. And now we just polish. And what you're doing is you're rubbing it basically along the leather, trying to get all the leather. Now, if you have big scuffs or scratches or anything like that, this is where the polish really comes in, because it will fill in those scratches areas. And what you can do is you can do maybe 1 or 2 passes with this, and it'll actually fill in those scuffs, and it'll take them away, and they'll look really nice. I even do inside the tongue there, because even though you're not going to see much of it, you'll see a little bit of it. So get your hand in there. Get that all like that. Okay, now we'll do the other one. All right, get some more polish on that. Again, you don't need a lot of polish. That's why these cans of polish have been around forever, because you really don't, I mean, just one little wipe and you'll feel it on the rag. You won't really see it on the shoe that much because, again, it's the color of the shoe. Just make sure you get everywhere with it. I wish I had a worse pair of shoes so you could really see the difference after I polish them up. But this gives you the idea. And you'll actually see after you do the polish, your shoes actually will have kind of a dull finish to them. You can, I don't know if it's coming through on the camera, but you can see my fingers a little pink there from the, or red. But you can see it's not quite as shiny anymore. It's kind of dull. And that's what you want. You want that dull look. So now we're done with the polish, this one. And you just put it back on there. Make sure that's this way. And you're done with the polish. All right. Now you just let that sit just a little bit. I don't let it sit very long. You can. You probably let it sit overnight if you wanted to. But this is just to show you. So now we take our rag and we just go over it. And now you see that shine? That's the shine just from the rag going over the polish. And basically you're doing the same thing, but this time with a clean section of the rag. Now you can see dull, shiny. Really makes a difference. All right, coming back. Look at that. 2 shiny shoes right there. All right, so now we've done that. Our next thing is to take one of your brushes, if you have one, and what you're doing is you're going to polish it. And what that's doing is it's producing friction. All those little brushes are hitting this, and it's actually kind of melting because that polish we put on is kind of a wax polish, and it actually kind of melts it straight into the leather. Other polishes are more like a liquefying one that, you know, to get into the pores and pull that out, but this really isn't, because that's not how the leather on this is. A pair of boots or something like that, you would use a boot oil, but you don't put a boot oil on a good pair of shoes. And basically just go pretty fast, and that gives you that really nice final shine. Make sure you get everywhere. All right. Now look at those now, huh? They look fantastic. Now once you've done that, we can put the shoelaces back in, but we're going to do one more step, because you can kind of tell. Actually, we'll hold off on the shoelaces. You don't need to see the shoelaces, me putting them on. But if you notice the edges here, the black, they're still a little scuffed up. So what we're going to do is we're going to get our black polish. So let's do that. All right, so here's the black polish. Same thing from Kiwi. You pop it, then you got the black polish. Now the black polish, we're just going to put, I'm just going to use one finger, because I just need a little, and you can see where this is all kind of cracked and everything. That's fine. We're going to go around the outside. So here you can see how that's all like that. We run the black. Keep in mind black is black, so don't get it on you. Try not to get it on the shoe itself too, unless your shoe is black. But you can see it's taking away, like here's a little scuff there. You see that? You throw that black on there. Again, keep it away from the regular if you can. I don't do the bottoms because I think that looks bad. If your bottoms of your shoes are black, it's like you just kind of went overboard. So again, we go over that. And you can see where that's a little scuffed up there. But now, with the black, and this one we kind of rub in. We want to get it into that scuffed up leather. We want to fill those scuffs and cracks and all that stuff. All right, so we did that one. Now let's do this one. Oh, see that? My finger got loose on me and I got it on the bottom. It's okay though. So again, just go over the edges. Now they have other stuff that are like a liquid and it's a sponge thing. I don't like those because to me, I like doing it by hand, and basically all that is just a paint that goes over top of everything. And that's really not what I like. But you know, it's for each. Anybody can do whatever they want, but this is how I do it. And then I come around, you can really see how that black has really helped it out. Okay, so now we've done that, and it's very similar to the other one. Make sure you put the lid on this thing because you don't want black shoe polish everywhere. Look at that, it's 59 cents when it was new. All right, now I'm going to use the same one because I don't want to get black on my regular polishing one. Because even though it's done with, it's still black. All right, so now we come back over it. Try to wipe it off, and you can see where it's come off. And now actually the edges have a nice shine to them too. So we go over the whole thing. There's one. Here's two. All right. Now what I'll do is I'll just go over the whole thing just one more time, and this will actually get the edges. It'll get the where we just polished that up. Basically, I'm just doing the edges right now. And then I'll do this side. All right. Look at that. Ready to go to any occasion. And they look really nice too, don't they? Now this particular V-cleat, the guy, the original owner, took out the V-cleat. I used to have V-cleat shoes, and I tell you, they're great until you hit a polished floor. And then if it's like a stone floor, you hit that cleat as you're walking and you will go flying. So it's good to take those V-cleats out. All right, so now let's put the shoelaces back in. Now these shoelaces are actually still pretty good. It's a waxed shoelace. You can see that's a nice waxed one. If your shoelaces were bad, get new shoelaces. And again, if you buy any of these kits of shoe stuff, most often there's going to be new shoelaces that some previous owner had purchased in the past. So what we're going to do is we're going to put these on, and then I'm going to show you how it looks. And just like that, they're like brand new shoes almost. Look at those. Those are so nice. I wish they were my size. And they're kind of neat because they're unusual. They're not Florsheim's, they're Towncraft, which is pretty not mainstream. But that's what it is. Now when you do your shoelaces, I like to go over top, and then I go under and over, and I do each one. I don't do like one side or one lace the whole way. I go lace, 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 and then I pull them up. That's how I do it. It has a nice look, I think. Now you can also go underneath if you'd rather. I like it on top, but that's, again, personal preference. But look how nice those are. Now this could be any shoe that you do. Basically the exact same way I did it, you can do it also for any pair of shoes that you own, and they'll look great. Hope this helped you. If you're new to polishing dress shoes, this will hopefully show you at least the main thing, how to do it. And it doesn't take a lot of time, as you saw. You can just sit there, watch TV and do it and polish your shoes, and you'll be good to go. Hope you enjoyed this episode, and I will see you on the next Derek Does.